Terry and Harvey were ordinary men, simple brothers looking to live off the land. When they found the perfect patch of wilderness, they built a modest shack on the outskirts of the countryside. The place was humble, just 2 rooms, a small wood stove, and rickety furniture they'd scavenged from nearby towns. For years they lived in peace, their only company being a single nearby tree and the occasional wandering rodent. But the peace didn't last. It started small. At first, Terry would catch glimpses of monstrous faces in the windows, faces that didn't belong to any living thing he knew. He'd see ghastly eyes peering through the glass, only for them to disappear when he tried to investigate. Harvey had his own encounters. Late at night, he'd catch a glimpse of a shadowy figure walking the halls or standing in the bathroom shower. Shadows would twist unnaturally in the corners of the shack, as if something was trying to step through from somewhere else. They tried to ignore it, brushing off the scary occurrences as tricks of the mind. But the nights became unbearable. Each brother began to retreat into himself, barely speaking. Terry's eyes grew sunken and paranoid, while Harvey spent hours carving strange symbols into the walls, hoping to ward off whatever stalked them. Then came the day everything unraveled. Harvey had gone to town for supplies, a rare trip that took most of the day. When he returned, dusk had already fallen, and a cold, unnatural silence blanketed the shack. He called Terry's name, but there was no response. The air inside felt heavy, like the breath of something immense lying just out of sight. And then he saw it. Terry, pressed halfway into the living room wall. His brother's face was contorted in agony, his limbs twisted at impossible angles. The wall itself was alive, the wood shifting and writhing, pulling Terry deeper into its splintered mouth. His skin split and tore as the boards folded over him like teeth. Terry's screams were muffled, swallowed by the house. Harvey dropped the groceries, his heart pounding in his chest. The sight was beyond anything his mind could grasp. The walls shouldn't eat people. Nothing made sense. A wave of madness swept over him, crashing down like a storm. He stumbled into the kitchen, his hands fumbling for the butcher knife. If Terry was gone, if the house had taken him, then Harvey knew he had no way out. Harvey sat down, gasping for air. The blade flashed in the dim light, and Harvey ended his life. Blood seeped into the cracked wood, and the shack welcomed his soul into its endless hunger. From that day on, the shack became a place of death. Travelers who stumbled across it, lost hikers, hunters, or drifters, were never seen again. Something in the walls shifted constantly, murmuring in voices that belonged to no human. People who wandered in would find themselves trapped, the door refusing to open, windows showing landscapes that didn't exist. Time unraveled within those rotting walls. Some said the shack sat on a fault line between dimensions, a rift where spirits and creatures bled into the world of the living. The house itself had become a living thing, a hungry, evil entity that fed on the minds and souls of anyone foolish enough to enter. Those who walked in were consumed, their bodies never found, their screams lost in the folds of reality itself. The shack remains standing to this day, hidden in the very spot it had been built, waiting for its next visitor. And once you step inside, there is no escape. You become a part of it, another whisper in the walls, another shadow moving in the corners, trapped forever between worlds.